Now, a friend of mine have worked together to look into all of the popular content creators and FPL experts that you know and love to understand who they've picked in their drafts. And what we've come up with is an FPL experts team. So this video essentially stems from a tweet from my friend Josh. I'll leave a link in the description to that specific tweet, but I think it's a good idea for a video to give you an idea of the popular players amongst fellow FPL content creators and experts alike. So the defense that we've got at the moment then, we've gone Kelleher, Gabriel, Udogie and De Kuiper of Brighton. I think these three defenders almost really speak for themselves. Gabriel being, I think, probably going to be the most popular defender at the start of the game. Arsenal, fantastic defensively. We all know what he offers from an attacking perspective. Udogie from Tottenham, I think 4.5 million for a Tottenham starting defender is pretty good value. He's got a good fixture against Burnley at home coming up. And De Kuiper, Estupiñán being off to AC Milan, I think he's going to be the starting Brighton left back. When you look at all the stats and numbers he's put up in previous seasons at previous clubs, he's just an exceptionally good left back from an attacking perspective. So expect lots of goals, hopefully lots of goals and assists from him this season. And the consensus is to go for Kelleher in goal. I'll talk on the next slide about other options in these positions. Obviously, they haven't all picked these players, so other popular picks I will mention on the next slide. But Kelleher is the outstanding pick at goalkeeper. I think the consensus is to go for a bench boost on game week 1 as well. You can see the bench here of Darlow, Wan-Bissaka and Konsa. Darlow, I think, is the choice starting 4 million goalkeeper. Kinski of Spurs may at some point dislodge Vicario, but right now it looks like if Leeds don't sign anyone, Darlow's going to be their starting keeper. Wan-Bissaka going to start at right back for West Ham. Played pretty well for them last season. They've got Sunderland away as their first fixture. Konsa is just a steady Eddie across the season. He's going to play every game for Aston Villa, and he's just 4.5 million. Welbeck, I think with the departure of João Pedro, obviously to Chelsea, he's going to be the main man, I think, as things stand at Brighton. Probably going to take penalties as well. So you've got a starting Brighton striker on penalties for 6.5 million. So defence and bench, this is what it's looking like. I just wanted to say this video is sponsored once again by Fantasy Football Hub. Their tool is coming out imminently. It might even be out by the time this video goes live. You can use it to get your team AI rated. There's plenty more tools on there as well. All the stats, all the data you need, including expected points and all of the underlying numbers and data from last season for all of the Premier League players. And if you don't win your mini league alongside using Fantasy Football Hub, you get your money back, including if you use my link in the description below, by the way, you get 50% off. So 50% off and your money back if you don't win your mini league. What's not to like? Some other popular goalkeepers amongst this cohort of experts and content creators. We've got Sells of Nottingham Forest. Decent fixture against Brentford, particularly considering who Brentford have lost. And Mbeumo, Norgard and Wissa all look like, well, they've either left or on their way out. So it's a good fixture. And obviously Forest were good defensively last season. Although I would say they were good defensively for the first half of the season. And then their numbers, they really did drop off towards the second half. So I do think Sells is a good pick regardless. So Sanchez of Chelsea. Chelsea have the best fixtures of any team for sort of the opening 5-6 game weeks. Sanchez, I think, following on from the Club World Cup, looks like he's going to be the #1 goalkeeper for Chelsea. And they've got Crystal Palace at home as their fixture to start. And obviously, like I said, best starting 5-6 fixtures of any team. Raya of Arsenal, 5.5 million, same price he was last season. Obviously, that's quite a premium price for a goalkeeper. But, you know, I think Arsenal were just a really good defence. He's going to solidly keep a decent amount of clean sheets. And he was pretty good for saves as well. And that opening fixture against Man United, they're not the best opening fixtures for Arsenal, but the first two, Man United, and I think they got Leeds, haven't they, in game week 2. A couple of really good fixtures. Yeah, I think he's going to be a nice pick. Other popular defenders, well, we got Frimpong, Guardiola, Colwill, Virgil van Dijk and Guéhi. Guardiola, Colwill, Van Dijk and Guéhi, I can completely understand. Frimpong, I think the upside is there. Don't get me wrong, the upside is there, but I just don't massively trust his minutes. He's unproven in the Premier League. I don't know how he's going to stack up defensively, whether he's going to be a bit of a liability there to get going, whether Conor Bradley could take some of his minutes. That's the only concern I have about Frimpong. We all know what he's going to offer from an attacking perspective. Guardiola, he's probably going to move to centre-back, I think, with the signing of Ait-Nouri, who interestingly isn't on this list. The content creators and experts don't necessarily rate Ait-Nouri. Guardiola, I think, was the Man City player that played the most minutes last season. You know, he's just a Pep Guardiola favourite, isn't he? And I think even though he's a centre-back, a 6 million guaranteed starting defender for Man City, it's going to be a pretty good pick. And also, our Chelsea, I think Man City as well, they got some really good starting fixtures. Colwill, more expensive than last season at 5 million rather than 4.5, but I think, you know, you've got a player that's going to play every minute, I think, for Chelsea. Chelsea have got some really good opening fixtures. Virgil van Dijk offered a few goals and assists, I think, for Liverpool last season. Bournemouth away, not the best fixture in the world, but I think there's a chance for a clean sheet there for Liverpool. And with Virgil van Dijk, he's going to play every minute of every game. We know what he brings to that Liverpool team. And yeah, at 6 million, you just pick him in your team and forget about him, really, don't you? And then Gahey at 4.5 million, probably the other 4.5 million defender I would pick myself. Not necessarily enamoured by Crystal Palace's fixtures, and they probably do concede a few goals to kick off the season, but he's going to play every game. And I've got a feeling he's going to do pretty well for the defensive contribution points as well. As I think Colwill might as well, just with the fact that he's going to be on the pitch for every minute. So yeah, other popular defenders these guys have gone for are here. On to the midfield then, and I think not only is this the FPL sort of experts, content creators consensus team, I think this team is going to be quite the template when it comes to the start of the season, right? I think most of these players are going to be in the template sort of coin term for FPL. So we've got Salah. I don't really need to explain him anymore. He's actually 14.5 million. Forgive that incorrect graphic there. He's 14.5. Obviously got Bournemouth as his fixture. A really good fixture. I've also noticed it's Bournemouth at home. Oh well. You know what that's meant to say. Great player. FPL point scoring record last season. Say no more, really. And Jai seems to be the consensus sort of 6.5 million midfielder. Now he's going to be on penalties likely for Everton. I think he's their star player, really, isn't he, from an attacking perspective? Leeds away as his first fixture. I think he's going to do all right this season, particularly considering he's on penalties. Cole Palmer off the back of an exceptional Club World Cup, which obviously Chelsea won. Good fixtures for Chelsea. Like I said, Chelsea have probably the best fixtures of any team starting this season off. I think Palmer would be a good option. Wirtz, unproven in the Premier League, but I don't think there's any way he doesn't play regularly for Liverpool, at least at the start of the season. 8.5 million for the upside he provides is great value, and well, the content creators and experts agree. And also Rodgers, 7 million. I think when you look at that 7 million price point, he emerges as probably the best. He's going to play every game. We all know what he offers from an attacking perspective. Great asset, great player. Newcastle at home up first. And then the Villa fixtures alongside Chelsea's are really good as well once you get that Newcastle one out of the way. And could you really rule out Rodgers scoring against Newcastle? Probably not. A few other midfielders that didn't quite make the cut of the starting 11 here, or the 15, sorry. We got Marmoush, who I think is a little bit underrated. I think at least for the start of the season, he's going to get good minutes. A lot of people aren't necessarily picking Man City players, which is understandable because who's going to start? Yeah, that's the question you're asking yourself. I think Marmoush is one of those that will probably start. They've got good fixtures. I think they'll be revitalised with the new signings they've made as well. I back Marmoush to have a good start to the season. I think he's a very respectable pick. Kudus, he just seems really popular across everyone I've seen, but I just doubt whether he's going to be first choice or a regular starter for Tottenham. So he's a popular pick. I personally don't massively like him. Then you've got Elliot Anderson, who is excelled last season for that defensive contribution points. He's 5.5 million, and he should be on set pieces as well for Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White rumoured to be leaving. Not sure if that's going to come off, and obviously Elanga leaving. There's just a hole, I think, in that Nottingham Forest to fill in terms of attacking returns. I know Elliot Anderson from his days at Bristol Rovers, my supported club's rival team, and he was exceptional for them. And I think he offers a lot more from an attacking perspective than he's necessarily showed for Forest so far. So I think a combination of potentially good attacking returns and the defensive contributions for him, I think he could be a nice option. And you got for Sunderland, you got Lefay. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Enzo Lefay, likely their penalty taker. I think probably one of their best players. 5 million. He's going to start every week for them. I know it's Sunderland, probably the weakest team in the league, but their penalty taker, talismanish sort of player. 5 million. What more can you say, really? I think he's a good option, especially if you're on your bench boost and looking for a cheap midfielder. Finally, then, we've got the strikers. João Pedro and Solanke make the draft. Again, I think this is going to be sort of the community, FPL community template, isn't it? As well as a consensus of who content creators and experts are picking. João Pedro is the most popular striker in the game right now. I'm not 100% sure about his long-term minutes, but I think at least to start the season off, he's going to start. And then Solanke, who I just think is a safe, steady Eddie. He's probably going to start every game for Spurs, play 90 minutes, take penalties. They've got decent fixtures. I think they'll do all right in the league this season, Spurs. So yeah, I think these two are pretty solid picks, aren't they? In terms of other popular forwards that didn't quite make the draft, interestingly, none of them have gone for Haaland. Zero of the experts or content creators I've seen so far have picked Haaland. Strand Larson, I think with Cunha leaving, he's going to be the Wolves talisman, take penalties, play every game, 90 minutes, just tick all the boxes of a good FPL asset. I think he's a decent value striker at 6.5 million, obviously alongside Welbeck. Isak, I think with the signing of Wissa, his minutes might go down a little bit, but they obviously had Isak and Wilson last season as well. 10.5 million. He basically guarantees you 20 Premier League goals, doesn't he? And I think certainly looks like he's going to stay at Newcastle. And then Chris Wood. I am a little bit concerned about Forest this season and just how many goals they're going to score without Elanga. And they did drop off a little bit towards the back end of last season. But at 7.5 million, I think he's still going to be their starting striker despite new signings. And he takes penalties. I think he's still going to be a solid option. All right, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that, found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like rate and check out Josh's tweet in the description below to see, the content creators and experts that are spoken about in this video. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this team. I think what I've just showed you here is the FPL template, basically, particularly considering I think a lot of people are going to bench boost in Game Week 1 as well. So yeah, if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, which should be around there on your screen. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in my next video.